your bad. It's for your good. And so when Coach Switzer said, well, I'm going to move you to linebacker, I said, Coach, I'm a running back. We got like 10 running backs. But I'm even though I'm playing fullback here, and Kenny King is about to take my job because I'm broke up. He said, go to your room. Take a couple of hours. Come back again in a couple of hours and we'll talk some more. So I went back to my room. And I sit in my room. I ain't saved yet. I thought I was saved when I was a kid growing up because I was in the church all the time. But I ain't saved. I just came up and gave my life to the Lord because my grandmother told me to. She wasn't but about 5'4", but she was tough. She carried a big stick. It wasn't that big, but it stung when it hit you. And so I went to my room and came back, and Coach Switzer, and before I talked to Coach Switzer, I said, what am I really here for? And I was really there to play, no matter what position. I just wanted to play at Oklahoma and be a starter at Oklahoma. So I went back to Coach Switzer and I said, I'm gonna give it a try. Because my main goal is to play for Oklahoma. And Coach Switzer moved me to inside linebacker. I made 3-time All-American at Oklahoma. Got a lot of great things happened to me because I was obedient to that what God had called me to. And so my senior year in college at Oklahoma, I was getting ready to be drafted to play professional football. And everybody was patting me on my back, telling me how great I was, telling me how good a football player I was. And I was a pretty good football player at 215 pounds. And so I went to my room, and I was sitting in my room, and I said, I was looking at all these achievements and all these plaques and all this stuff. And I said, something's missing. But I didn't know what it was. I was Defensive Player of the Year twice, 3-time All-American. Bob Hope went to the Bob Hope show, and just didn't imagine things that would happen to you. And I was sitting in my room after all that, trying to figure out something's wrong. I'm supposed to be really hyped right now. I'm getting ready. I was Green Bay Packers. I was their #1 pick. I was the 26th player chosen in the draft, first round. I mean, I'm supposed to be on cloud 9 if there is one. And I'm sitting in my room trying to figure out, is that it? Is it another goal that I can achieve? Because apparently I'm not being satisfied from what I just accomplished. I sit in that room for 2 hours trying to figure out what is wrong with me. I'm supposed to be the most excited person in the world. And I'm figuring out like I just lost my dog, my pet. And my brother calls, my older brother. He said, hey man, what you doing? Nothing. I say, something just happened to me, but I can't tell you over the telephone. I need to talk to you face to face. Now that's my big brother. He whooped me when I was young, so I don't try to, because I can't whoop him. knock it out running, but I can't whoop it. And so he said, something I got to tell you, but I can't tell you over the phone. I got to see you face to face. I said, okay, bro, I'm on my way. It was Saturday. Got up and drove down to North Texas where he was, because he was just finished his career at North Texas. Tore his knee up, and so the scouts stopped coming by him because he had tore his knee up. And so I drove down to North Texas where he was, and he's sitting down. He said, man, I got something to tell you. It's something that happened to me, but I just want to tell you what happened. He said, sit down. So I sit down, and he began to talk to me about just gave his life to Jesus Christ. And he said he was so excited about it. He thought about me. And so he said he had to tell somebody. And he said that I was the main one that he thought of. But I couldn't tell you over the phone. I needed to see you face to face. And he began to talk to me about God, about how he gave his life to the Lord. I said, man, I thought I did that already. I remember when my grandmother pointed me in the pew and told me to come up and get in that seat. I got up and got in that seat because I was obedient to her most of the time. And they said, no, just because somebody tell you to do something, that don't mean that you're doing it for yourself. So you gotta ask God to come into your life. You gotta give your life to him. And I looked at it, and I said, that's what I don't have. I don't have a personal relationship with God. And he said, you can get it, you can go in the garage and you can sit in that garage, you can stand in that garage your whole day. But you ain't gonna turn into no car. So you can sell, you gotta mean it. When you ask God to come into your life, you gotta understand that you can't do it on your own. And he began to talk to me about reading the Bible and praying. I said, man, I don't have that. I don't have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. I didn't know who Jesus, God was. And I told my brother, thanks. And I jumped back in my car and I went back to Oklahoma. Next day was Sunday. I'm good at going to church back then. And so I went to church on Sunday in Norman, Oklahoma. I don't even remember what the preacher talked about. I was waiting because I knew he was going to ask anybody if they wanted to accept Jesus into their life. I knew he was going to do that because that's what all churches do. And after he got done with his message, and he says, is there anyone in here today? Now on Saturday night they had a club, but on Sunday they flipped it into a church. That's the church that I went to. Because there wasn't a club on Sundays, just on Saturdays. And so that preacher was good, but I wasn't listening to what he was saying. I just needed to know when he was going to ask anybody. And so when he asked anybody in the audience, do you want to give your life to Jesus Christ? My hand went up. I knew that's what was missing. I had everything else, and